Every year you sponsor Hackfort, which is, for those of you who are not aware, this is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Every year you sponsor Hackfort, which is, for those of you who are not aware, Hackfort. This is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Hackfort. 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 Every year you sponsor Hackfort. 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 This is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new.
That never gets old.
I gotta make a noise when we go live.
That one was a different one.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep you on your toes.
You usually go, and what do you say?
And we're live.
And we're live, yeah.
I think I got that. I think I actually stole that from Linus.
Oh.
He says it every single time they go live, so that's probably where I got it.
That is exactly where you got it.
Now it's not a secret.
Just two Linus Tech Tips fanboys.
Dude, actually, some of their most recent videos have been really fun and hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you see the one where they made a solid gold Xbox controller?
Yes.
And it actually...
It was like, what, $70,000 controller?
$65,000
I was rounding up.
Yeah. Solid gold. And it worked. I mean, it didn't work well because the range was ruined because gold is like the best conductor, and so it just like shielded all the electronics on the inside.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny video. Just getting people's reactions. Like, why does this exist?
And I think the thing that like cracked me up the most about it was they couldn't even hold it. Like, you couldn't hold it with your bare hands because you'd ruin the finish.
Yeah, you had to
so they all have gloves, and I'm just like, what? Like, okay, no, this is really impractical and really stupid. Like, Aliko's wife was like, she's like, if you use it once a month, we can keep it. And he's like, okay. And she's like, I think we should sell it and have a party. Like,
yeah.
Because he's like, that's like the second thing Linus has done in like a month, because he bought a shitload of GME stock and didn't sell it.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah. And his wife was like, because he did it, like, again, it was on their show, on the WAN show. He was just like, I'll do it. I'm doing it. If like, there was like something and he just did it. And like, not great. Pretty funny.
Well, he's got the money now. He's got that YouTube money.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, they're an empire, and it's not YouTube. Yeah, they make a lot of money, but like
partially
the
YouTube,
majority, they're at this point, it's endorsements, all their little things they edit in,
merch.
They have an army. I mean, I think it's cool because Linus really he wanted to build something that was sustainable that he could eventually one day walk away from, and it would stay. And I think he's done that. He built a company that,
yeah.
If YouTube went away tomorrow, I think they could still create on branded content and be fine.
Yeah.
I really
Do you
hope.
think eventually they'll put his name off of it?
He's talked about it. I mean, you're the one who, like, I had put off watching when they got like was it 1 billion followers, or what was the number? 100 million?
Yeah. Something like that.
And in the video, he like cries and he talks about his family and how he doesn't get, and
yeah.
But what I think is cool is like his wife is really involved. I mean, I met both of them. I always forget that. Like, I met Linus, Sebastian, and his wife, and most of the team when I volunteered for them at their event last year, which was their third event, which it's their third event and made Hackfort look like a joke. I mean,
yeah.
But I learned a lot, and I saw what Hackfort could be, and I saw, like, again, they did it in reverse. We started as a tech event, and they the other way. They started
content creators
as creators, and they built this insane online community. And then when they're like, oh, let's have an event for our fans, like, we won't make any money, it'll be fine. Well, like, they broke even, I think, the first 2 years, and like the year I went, they were like, oh, we have to like make another part of our company that is just this event.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was so cool. It's everything. Like, it's funny because their event's basically what our event is in a lot of ways. Like, it's a bunch of nerds, it's a bunch of computers. They have a LAN party. They had all this fun stuff, and I see us getting there, in their third year. And it's funny because there's a lot of stuff they don't know. And I would like give the guys suggestions, and they were like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. We should do that. And they were like, they actually had an event planner position open because the girl who was doing it decided she didn't want to do it. And I was like, do I want to move to Canada? Like,
yeah,
but
I would.
If you did it, Mike, I'd be so happy because it means I'd get to come and it's like, yeah, they're cool. They're really cool. But yeah.
Yeah. Looks cool.
Still bucket list for me for sure is to get at least some facsimile of their team to Treefort at some point. And it's doable. I think I met enough people that they would remember me, and honestly, if LTX happens again, we just need to go.
Yeah.
We'll probably get more out of it than volunteering, unless I can work that angle again. But
you can.
Maybe.
If I know.
I think I lucked out. I think I just like applied right at the right time, and like, but it's competitive, like, I don't know. I was expecting more, and they had me doing way less. It was like, it wasn't that organized. Again, it's their third year,
Yeah. Well, we're not that organized with our volunteers either.
We were very teed up to be organized last year, I think.
Yeah, we were teed up.
We had a way better game plan. Joe and Jesse were actually doing like me a huge amount of support and work that I didn't want to do, which was just making people sign up to be volunteers that wanted to be volunteers. By the way, if anyone's watching this and you like Hackfort, please reach out to us. Email us if you want to volunteer. We make a list. We really kind of manage that internally, just because we do have a pretty high demand of people that want to be involved. I don't want to turn anybody away, though. If we, obviously we have a cap every year, but
yeah, and we're definitely want to meet and hear what you're interested in. Like, if it turns out that you're like volunteering at the festival wouldn't work out, maybe there's something else.
Yeah, and then
get involved in
as a fallback. Yeah, I mean, just if you like Treefort, volunteer. I don't think they really turned anyone away.
It's like 1,000 volunteers.
Yeah. And you get a really cheap pass. So it's...
And a t-shirt.
Yeah. They hook it up. And a pizza party.
A pizza party.
They always have... Well, I don't know if they're going to do that again, but they usually have that party that's on the... it's on the top of where Owyhee building. Like on the roof.
For volunteers?
Mm-hmm. So that's where you go to get your wristband. If you're a normal Treefort volunteer. If we wanted to, we could have our volunteers like go there before and get their stuff. We'd have to be there.
Ugh.
But it's a pizza party, and I think there was even free beer if you're 21. So
our volunteers should be invited to the pizza party.
Sure.
So,
well, we could throw them a pizza party. I mean, I catered for our volunteers 2 years ago.
We need to do that secret party. I don't know if we should be talking about this on the podcast.
The secret party we shouldn't be talking about. Really good.
Cat out of the bag.
I don't know. I think we have a good plan there. There'll be a secret party at some point. Like cool DJ or like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Something funny.
Something. Maybe.
We have ideas. We can't execute them and without help though. So again, reach out to us. Maybe you can help us plan the secret party.
Yeah. And then if you agree to do the secret party, follow through.
Or don't. That's okay.
Whatever.
Oh, it's not okay.
We roll with the
we
punches.
never not. I mean, I feel like our team and everybody who has helped has never not delivered. It's just things outside of our control, which that's fine.
Happen.
That happens to everyone.
Yeah.
And we just learn from those mistakes and we move on.
There's always something new and cool to plan.
Yeah. Well, I think we learned that too. It's like we had some people cancel last minute. We've had just stuff happen. And what are you going to do?
whine about it on a podcast that
Yeah.
no one watches.
Yeah. Someday it'll all make sense. Good move on moving Grogu here, by the way. He's a
Thanks.
pretty good audience member.
Yeah.
Dimitra would be very proud.
He's here to protect us.
He's kind of taking it over. Is he protecting us?
I don't know.
I mean, if you've watched the show, I mean, he pretty much causes like all the problems. But he's so cute. You gotta like.
He is a cute, and he's, kind of. He eats babies.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a whole group of people online that is convinced he's actually like a dark Sith Lord because he like does all these bad things, and I'm like, I think he's just a baby, but whatever. Well, cool. Mike, let's talk about 3D printing. That's what you and I decided to kind of geek out on tonight.
So, first of all, I don't know very much about 3D printing.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you a while ago if I should buy one because I wanted some stuff
Yeah.
printed. And then you were just like, send me the files and I'll print it.
I mean, and 3D printers are like, it is a really worthy investment if you're willing to put in the time. It just depends on what you want to like get out of it. Because like I said, there are some options out there where I'm like, okay, if you wanted to spend $200, $300, it'll work pretty dang well. But then when you get to like just wanting to do more things and more quality, there's two tracks. There's either you spend $2,000 on a printer that like does everything itself and does a really good job, or the middle ground is purchasing these printers that are actually really good quality, but you have to kind of set them up and calibrate them yourself. And I've been dealing with some of the pains of that the last like month. We got this cool 3D printer. Zach actually bought the one that like my friend Dan has, and everybody who's kind of in it has been like, yeah, this is the brand. It's called Prusa. They're definitely kind of the mainstay in the industry. And Zach and I, over Christmas, we were like, let's build it. We got to build this thing, and so we built it together, which I wish I would have like filmed that more. So that would have been cool. I mean, I know I posted on Instagram, some of it, but it definitely was a process. I mean, Zach and I were doing it like when we could at night, and I think it probably took us like at least a week or two to put it all together and do it right. Like the manual is like huge, and it's a really funny manual. It came with like gummy bears, and like it said, these gummy bears, we have like, they're like, don't eat all the gummy. It's in the manual. It's like, don't eat all the gummy bears right away. We have like figured out how to reward you with gummy bears based on how long each chapter is. And they have you like set all the gummy bears out. And like at the end of each chapter, it's like, okay, you can eat 2 gummy bears or 3 or like, and it was just really funny. It's like,
Can I see that after this?
yeah, I'll show you they're actually, you would love this manual from like a QA, UX, like you can tell these guys, this is not the first rev of this manual, right?
Yeah.
And Prusos are, I think they're from Germany. They're from Europe, but the creator, his videos on YouTube are hilarious. And like, they have a lot of really good content to help you. Right. That being said, it only goes so far, and you kind of, after you have a problem or an issue, they have a lot of stuff to help you. But like I ran into an issue with, we started printing with PLA. And so I guess just going into printers in general, 3D printers use basically 3 axes of motors and an extruder head, which then takes filament, which can be different types of material, and heats that up, and then basically layer by layer can build a model.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually pretty amazing that we've gotten to the precision we have. And, 3D printing's been around for a while, but now for, if you're willing to spend that money, Prusas are around $600, $700 unassembled. You can get them for about $1,200 pre-assembled. But yeah, so it takes the plastic, and there's all these different materials. Well, different materials require different heat. They require different speed. They require different calibration. And what I learned was when we first got it and set it up, PLA, which is probably one of the most common plastics that people print with, because it's cheap, it's really forgiving. It doesn't just like glob up, but it's made out of corn, super biodegradable. The downside to it is it's not as strong. It won't hold up to UV light well. So if you have it outside, its melting temperature is actually low too. So if it's actually really hot, PLA it could just become mush.
Wow. Okay.
And so that material though, because it's kind of forgetting, when we first calibrated our printer, it was fine. It was like whatever. It like stuck to and there's a thing called a first layer calibration where it's the first layer of the print, and that's really where everything starts, right? So if your first layer isn't perfect or as close to perfect as you can get it, and it's not mushed down right, and it's not, so your first layer, typically the extruder is actually going to it's going to print closer to the surface than it is with all the other layers, because what it's doing is it's kind of mushing down and really building a base and a platform for it then to build all the other layers on. Well, PLA was working fine. When I switched to the new material, which is probably the most popular for durability and just if you're really into it, it's called PETG. Well, PETG is like, I think like PLA, I think I've been printing at like 120 degrees. PETG is like 240 to 250.
That's a lot.
It's a big difference, right? And PETG's melting point is just, it's a lot more sensitive. So you don't want it to be too hot, but you don't want it to be too cold. And temperature, even room temperature, can affect how well your print is.
Wow.
Depending. I mean, if it's really cold, I mean.
Yeah.
But my basement, where it is cooler than most of the house. And I think that is part of the factor of my issue with calibrating it. Like I literally, I tried to print something and I walked away and I came back and it was just like this globby nightmare, and I was like, oh my god, and I had to like stop it, because like if it hardens and then the motor, and that's actually what ended up happening, I was away from a print and something globbed up and the motor got like completely like miscalibrated and it messed up everything, like,
oh, wow.
And I couldn't figure out what was going on, and of course I was Googling like Prusa's site, like all these things, and I was like, crap, I probably need to recalibrate this. And there's this sensor that is extremely important for letting the motor head know where it is when it goes down to the bed. That got moved slightly and completely miscalibrated everything.
Oh.
And I also figured out that Zach and I hadn't even really put that sensor as good as we could have for calibrating that first layer. And so once I finally I like took it up, just like did it right, my first print with PETG was just like night and day. Like it was insane. And I still found out I wasn't even good. I could have pushed that head even closer to the surface. And once I got that, like the prints have been awesome. Like this one even had, like, I think this is before I even calibrated again.
Do you want to show it off?
Yeah. So I guess, I don't know. Do you want to talk about your need? Let's talk about what you needed and how we solved your problem.
I needed, I don't know if I'd.
Well, I think this is cool.
Yeah. So there's this VR game called, I think it's called 11 Table Tennis, where it's literally just a ping pong table, and you can play it against like one or two others, or like doubles or singles, and it works so well. It is a little weird though, like playing ping pong with a Oculus Quest controller. So I saw, like on a subreddit at some point, that somebody had 3D printed one of these handles that you can clip onto the controller, and it feels exactly like a ping pong paddle. And then you're able to just play ping pong. So I told Sean about this, and like that's why I wanted a 3D printer. Like maybe I'll print this thing, and
a 3D printer just so you can print one paddle.
Just a paddle. Well, some cable management stuff too, but
yeah, I can. And the thing is, Mike, it's like,
and then now there's this mini golf game we're playing. So now I'm thinking, and then also I play Beat Saber a lot, so now I kind of want those Beat Saber like.
Oh yeah, that looked cool.
Saber things.
That really looked cool, actually.
So basically, I just want all sorts of attachments for the Oculus controller, I guess. And then, Sean just said to send him a file, and I did that. And then he posted this photo of this thing that I saw on the internet. And they had
We
successfully
can bring it
printed
up too. You can see, it's got a groove on one side to hold kind of the sensor part, and it slips in and then Velcros in. I definitely think you should get like paddle wrap, so you can make it. I just think that'll make this crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, it's funny. It's just so easy. We print. It took me a night to print this, and it was 2 pieces. You could print it as a solid, but you'd have to print, and I'll get to that a little bit, like supports and stuff. But printed it in 2 pieces, super glued it together. It actually clicked in, but the guy said, "Oh yeah, super glue is recommended," and I was like, "Okay, I got a couple drops. I mean, this thing's not going to come apart." Yeah, and this is PETG, which the material PETG is like. The best analogy I read online was it's like pretty close to like what you would find in like a Nalgene bottle. So pretty hard plastic. It's not a very toxic plastic. It doesn't like PLA and PETG are the 2 that people use the most because there's no fumes. You don't have to vent it. There's some, like ABS. You want to vent ABS. You need like a, fan blowing that out of your, because that's not the fumes that come from that are potentially harmful. And, I'm not even going to go there, but you can get materials that have rubber in them, which I've been wanting to try some of the rubber ones. The rubbers can be a little harder to print depending, because it's just the melting point and stuff. You have to calibrate.
So do most 3D printers have the ability to have different materials like this?
Yeah, it just depends. Like Prusa, they design theirs to be pretty versatile. And on their website they kind of list. They'll tell you what
Yeah.
You can get filament that has carbon fiber in it. You can get there's a wood filament that I think would be really fun to try because you could print and then you can actually sand it and paint it. So you can get because. You're limited to some resolution. Like I could set the resolution higher, so it's even higher quality. So it's like thinner layers and more. It just takes way longer to print. And like honestly, this is like I think 0.15 millimeter layers. And the resolutions, I mean, it's fine. It's smooth.
So cool.
Yeah, and
yeah, it looks insanely smooth. You can see the lines up close, but
yeah.
I mean, the lines look cool.
It's functional. I mean, and again, the measurements are perfect. In the end, even though you can see the lines or whatever what's printed, the precision is dead on to how it was engineered on the computer. So that's a really good segue. We'll go to the screen here. So I took a photo of this. This is so Prusa has their own kind of open source software, which you don't even have to use just with their printers. Like they've pretty much made it so if other companies want to use it, they can, and they do. And there's like communities that build presets that you can just load into this software. And Slicer does what it's called. Basically, you take these 3D images, this 3D model, you scale it however you want. You set it on the planer. You can copy it. You could do 5 of something, and then once you have it set, you then set the preset. So I'll tell it I'm using Prusa Mint PETG, and they have general defaults but if Prusa makes their own filament, and I think that's like the best because they know exactly how to dial it. They've done all this testing. You basically tell it what it is. You set the print settings. Usually, since I've had it calibrated, I was like messing with like all this stuff because I was like, why isn't it printing right? And then once I did that one thing, I'm just using the default, and it's been great. So yeah, you set it, and then you tell it to slice. And this image we're looking at right here is actually the after it is sliced. And so what it does is essentially just take that model and slice it into all the layers it needs to print. And it also calculates, you can tell it, hey, I want infill or I don't want infill. If you don't want infill, you'd be telling it, I want this whole thing to be solid plastic. In most cases, though, this is pretty strong plastic. You don't need that. And so you can do infill or no infill. So I usually do like 15%, 20%, right? You're saving plastic, and it will print basically. There's different types of infill settings, but the most common one's called hexagonal. And it basically it makes like all these cross layers that intertwine and basically fills up the middle. Still gives it structure. And it's actually, from an engineering standpoint, pretty strong. You're using way less material. So I think on that one I did like 15. I did whatever the guy said. I think it was like 15 percent or 20. I mean, I just did what he recommended because he even, he talked about the weight and the balance and whatever. I mean, I'm just like, yep, I'll just follow it.
Yep.
So yeah, and then you slice it. Once it's ready, you can export it to an SD card, or if you have your printer set up on your network, you can just send it straight to the printer. That's actually something Zach and I want to do. Is you can get an Arduino that does Wi-Fi, and there's this open source software that's really popular that Prusa supports. But then we can put the board directly into the Prusa, and it's just like a printer on your network. You just send the print job. Some other people too, like a lot of people are really into it. If you're doing like a long print, they'll set up cameras.
Oh yeah.
So you can like at work pull up your like, oh, how's it doing? Is there a problem? And
you should do that. Actually, we should like just do that. Stream it to Hackfort.
Just stream a print. I mean,
yeah,
we could do that with the
Mevo.
Yeah. Those are sitting there. That'd be funny. We could do that. We could print something funny, or we could just print a Hackfort logo or a Treefort logo.
After approval.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's this image. Let me see. I think I have another one here. I think I took a photo of when it started. Oh yeah. So this is like actually when it ended, when it comes off the platter. You can see there's like a little border that's pretty normal. And when it first starts, it'll like pump out a little border. And they do that for a couple of reasons. For one, if there's anything like debris or like anything, it's trying to get rid of that before it starts printing. Another thing you'll see is there's these, basically it's like this little outline you see here. These are called bridges and supports. And I didn't know if this was flat enough. Turns out it probably was good enough that it could have. But this part here was actually, it's a rounded part. So one thing to think about when you're 3D printing is 3D printers can only really print up. And if you have a model that has something that it goes up and then down, or it has like, it can't print to nothing, right? It has to print up. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you might have to actually tell the software, I need a support or a bridge. And it sucks because the image doesn't show it. But underneath this rounded part, there's a whole bunch of little supports it made. And it didn't use a lot of material, but it basically did that to build a bed for it to be able to solidly print the arch of that piece.
Okay.
And, I've had models where, someone's hands come out. Well, parts of the hands are lower than this part. It can't print that without having something to print on. So you have to build a support, basically. And the software will do that for you. My buddy Dan was telling me a lot and I kind of agree with him. Usually it's pretty overkill with those supports. Like you don't necessarily need them. And apparently you can remove them. I haven't really messed with that. But you can tweak what the software generates if you want to save material. And it prints them in a way that they're really light, so they'll break off really easy once you get the model. Like that had it. I just like worked at it and it all came out and then cleaned it up and good to go.
This is really cool.
Yeah. And then
3D printing.
Finished piece, and it's,
yeah, like all those little pieces of plastic for things that like break around the house.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
can now just like fix them yourself.
I think that's like one of the coolest things is like, if you have something that breaks at your house or like, you're like, crap, how am I going to replace that? Or I don't want to order that. And then you, if you have a 3D printer and you have that light bulb, you're like, oh, let me see if someone actually made that. And then you go online and of course someone made it, or they made it better, or they like, and like I printed a holder for my index because like the index controllers, like they're just kind of, I had to just lay them around. And of course I'm like Valve index, holder. And it's like wall mount, hangs my perfectly, and then it has two perfect slots, which if I wanted to, I could run a power cord into those slots. So when I dock them, they charge. But I need to do like a dual power brick for that and two cords, which I'm just been like, I don't know if I want to do that yet. But
can I get a Quest 2 one?
Yeah, let's make you one.
Because I'm same issue. Like this just like
sits if it's not in your case
somewhere like on my nightstand or sometimes like on my bed. Like if there's no like
Yeah, we should find.
Yeah.
I guarantee someone's made it. One that holds both your controllers and that, and it just screws into your wall or sits on your desk, wherever you want. We should look.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I wanted to pull up. So, like, of course, 3D printing has a massive online community, and one of the sites that I am a huge fan of is Thingiverse, and it actually was started by MakerBot. Which, if anyone's heard that name, MakerBot's kind of the company that made like affordable home-based 3D printers a thing. So it even says MakerBot there. But Thingiverse, free site, you can go online, you can upload your own designs to share, and you can also, and then everybody else, it's a whole community, so you can go on there and like, let's search for Oculus
Quest 2 mount.
Quest 2. Let's just do mount. There's a lot of, I run into the there's like all these gun
ones.
This one's, I see this one a lot because it's like really adjustable and like
better like head
look,
straps,
like right here
headband.
we've got like a wall mount that you can just like clip your
Oh, that's cool.
like right here, wall mount. Look at this.
Oh, what?
Let's see what this one's like. So go in here, has the guy who created it, and then
Oh, just like a couple hooks.
bunch of photos. Let's see. How's this thing look? I want to see it. Yeah, it's just like simple hooks. I mean,
Wow.
that's easy. I mean, you could design this too. I mean, that's the other whole can of worms is this inspires people to just learn how to do 3D modeling, which
Yeah.
there's so many resources for that. And I've even gone, oh, I like that, but I want to change it. Now I'm like, damn it, I need to learn how to do 3D modeling. Like, maybe I should have done mechanical engineering first, but I didn't.
You can always go back,
Oh God,
get your third degree.
that'd be too much,
Hey, I'm thinking about it
man.
because it's almost free for me, so might as well. But
Yeah. I mean, if
then
you
I'd
could
have to
take just like a
dedicate-
CAD class. I mean, honestly, this is cool. So you clip them here and then you hang it over.
yeah, it just hangs. That's sweet. And then the headset, yeah,
Pretty elegant. Yeah, and then you can just drape that over.
I like it. How do they mount it to the wall though? Is it Velcro?
Good question. I wonder if he's just using that sticky tape. Let's see. Does he have like a hole here? Well, he's got holes. Oh wow, he designed it so you put the holes in, and then you just like slip it over the bolt. I almost think you could do. Maybe this isn't the best design. Actually, let's look at these. So then he has his photos, and then you have like the models, what they look like, and yeah, I'm curious how
cool.
he did that part. He doesn't really. Is there some part we didn't mount? What's he say here? But this is the nice thing: is you see the model, and then it's like the better models. They'll have like a whole summary. No supports required. Steps.
drill the screws into the wall,
Okay.
1/4 inch.
Some of them will
protruding.
give you like print settings, like he says, use 24% infill. Like,
Yeah, it's not bad.
and this is it. You have an account, download all files. Just download a zip file, and right
is
here too,
cool.
there can be comments. There's thing files, remixes. A remix is when you take someone's design and change it, and then re-upload it, and so you can kind of share that you did that.
Can you see what those are?
Yeah.
So two people tried to make it
Oh
better.
look, I think this guy did make it better. So look, 2 screw holes, and you just screw it into the wall.
That guy made it better.
I mean, it's
That is so cool.
yeah. And again, whole community. And
Yeah.
it's a black hole. Sometimes I'm on this website for too long because there's a lot of crap. Like, what's this? Wall mount set.
I'm sure there's a lot of stuff for the headsets. Like,
Oh,
notoriously, this is not great.
Yeah,
the
no.
strap.
I've seen people replace that a lot.
Yeah, you can buy the $100
Alex
nice one.
just got one of those, and he did a mod. Again, it was 3D printed. So you took the bracket off, and the new brackets let him put on the HTC headpiece, which is cheaper than the expensive Oculus one.
Yeah.
And it's more adjustable. And he has like a battery pack and
That's awesome.
yeah. So yeah, I mean it's a total black hole, but you know, I love it. I mean it has opened doors for me,
Yeah.
you know, and solving little issues or just doing little things you want to do. And I mean, it's fun. It can be annoying and frustrating. But you know, there is a lot of support, and if you're willing to just put in the time, you can figure it out. And, but you know, like I said, there are 3D printers that you can get for like $300-$400 that Cybercloak. I think that's just an ad.
Oh, dang it. Kind of want a Cybercloak, though.
It tells me I spend way too much time
Yeah.
outside of work doing EDM music and festivals that I get spammed with. This is my like.
Yeah, it's a normal.
He's got actually. I think he's wearing those LED glasses I
that you
have.
already bought.
Oh my god. Maybe that's me.
These algorithms know you so well.
Well, I pretty much just put it all out there. What's this thing? Broom holder.
Broom holder.
Yeah, for the wall. You know, you just clip it in. Look, it's all like engineered. I mean, Jesus. Organizing tray. The front page is actually a good place. Like, look at this. This is like a honeycomb key holder. You like have a honeycomb block that you slide your key into.
That's
Eggs,
genius.
egg rolling
Yeah.
basket. Like the eggs rolled down. What? Wait, so you grab the one from the bottom of the? Yeah, I guess you do. I don't know. There's a lot of nerds.
wow.
Defender kit. Like, is this a? Wait, you print out the? Oh my god, I haven't even thought of that. There's got to be like Gundam sets that you can print, and then you like break it out of the thing like you would out of the package.
Can you do like puzzles and?
Oh god,
And then
yes.
there's probably so many.
I'm sure it's just. I mean, what's this? Toothpaste squeezer.
Was that a paper towel holder? I want one of those.
Oh, like this?
Yeah. Oh, and a little thing on the
That
top.
tears it.
Oh, that's
Holy
so cool.
shit.
All right. You're not convincing me to not buy a 3D printer.
I'm not trying not to, but I'm also telling you that it you know, I like
I think
it is an investment in time and energy, and I am telling you there is frustration with like some of the more like it's real. I've dealt with it and it wasn't fun.
yeah.
That being said, like there really are some good printers out there, and you know, okay,
And it's dialed in now to the point where I can send you a file and you'll be like, all right, I'll just push the print button.
yeah. I mean, and I can. I mean, mine at this point, I can just if I'm not using it, dude, I'll print you anything. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, especially if you buy some filament, just buy some filament.
Yeah.
Percement. It's like 20 a kilogram roll is like $26 to $30. I mean, it's really affordable, and there's like
Nice.
every color under the sun. I mean,
I was gonna say, I prefer blue.
oh yeah.
So
Well, you get black for now.
I'm just kidding.
You know, and that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. So like extrusion printer, that's like what this is. You know, where you're extruding the material. The other really popular that has gotten way cheaper in the last few years is called it's a SLA printing, and that's where you essentially. I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna switch us back to our 2-shot.
See if you can play table tennis VR. 11 table tennis.
Oh yeah, so Danny's here. We want him to try this out while we're.
It's on the right side there is a little power button.
So kind of the new kid on the block is called SLA printing, and what that is where instead of extruding a material, you essentially have a vat of material that's like a resin. Oh yeah, it's not on this right now. This is gonna be funny. I wonder with the controller if it's gonna be a little frustrating when you're.
In the setup functions,
Yeah.
Can you still hold it in some way when it's in there?
kind of.
But yeah, so SLA printing, you have a material that is like basically a resin, and you're actually using light to cure the resin. And you know, originally a lot of this was done using like lasers and stuff, so that's pretty expensive. And now we have new printers that basically can just use like a phone screen. It's like an LCD that's white and really bright, right? And so with this method, what you're doing is essentially it's still slicing up the image, right? But you have a vat of this resin, and what it does is it flashes one layer of what that thing is, but it can be way finer, way smaller, way thinner. Flash cures that layer. And then it slowly pulls it up. Flash cures another layer. And it just slowly, and it, and usually SLA is a little slower, but you get an insanely high resolution reproduction of what you're printing. And so typically a lot of the cheaper, affordable ones, they're going to be smaller. You don't have as big of a space, right? But it's using like a phone screen. Like it's not, and for $300, like I think Josh Trout, he has one. Vlad has one that Vlad said he's not using. And I was like, well, I mean, bring it over here. Mike and I can play with it, you know? But they're really popular for like board games and stuff, like where you can make like a Dungeons and Dragons figurine perfectly high resolution, and then you can paint it, you can do whatever. I mean,
Oh wow.
So that's the other type of printing. And depending on what you're wanting to print, SLA might be way better than extrusion, for modeling and certain things. But,
It says like $300.
Yeah. It's called I can look it up for you. Those are really cool. But again, your print bed's a lot smaller. So,
Yeah.
like mine is and theoretically you can do a foot by a foot. So you could theoretically print a foot cube, but you wouldn't want to do that. That would honestly, if
Make
the
a
model
foot by foot die.
when you maximize the use of the bed, like when you get to the edges, like the print bed itself actually stays heated while it's printing to kind of help with adhesion and stuff. And obviously on the end, it's not as warm. And I've had issues where like stuff has started to curl up. Like it needs to stay a certain temperature for it to stay flat, and so, usually in general, you're not doing that. You're using more of the middle. And the other new thing, which I've seen, this is like the next big thing in like extrusion printing, is instead of having just a base that moves back and forth left and right, there's like a huge conveyor belt. And so it basically can print, and then when it's done printing, it just rolls that piece off and it can start another one. And it just keeps printing because it can move left and right, but it can infinitely move. And so there's like these printers now where you could like be like, I want 50 of this. You just hit print and walk away, and then they all just roll off the end like a basket or whatever. And so that's kind of like the next thing for home use. And like I've seen that like DIY. I'd be curious to see if Prusa made one. Prusa made an SLA printer, but it's expensive. It's like, and this is, they're known for like make your own printer or whatever. They don't really skimp on quality, so I think it's still like $2,000 just for the kit. Like, and that's not including. Oh, the other thing with SLA is because it's cured with light. Even when you're done making something, you have to then put it in like a UV cure is pretty standard for like 24 hours, 12 hours to let it fully set.
Oh.
So you have to really cure the resin.
Did you figure it out?
Yeah, that's super cool.
Were you able to play ping pong?
I had it up into the like intro screen, but it was wanting me to get more space to play.
Oh, you could have stood up over here.
Yeah, explore the space.
Or you could go over here
Make a
and
big
make a
guardian
space.
over here.
There you
Yeah.
go. I'll be in the background. I'll entertain.
Yeah, do that. That's way better. I want you to try it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing that I didn't mention with SLA, Mike, is SLA, because of the resin, a little more cleanup. And you're dealing with like, so like after you print, you got to like clean off the trays and you have to clean off the thing you printed. So there's a little more involvement there.
Yeah.
That being said, my office is filled with like plastic, like just bits and pieces and strings, and it's like never ending.
Yeah. So far, like the one you have seems pretty cool.
Yeah, they're cool. Again, I think there's one I really want. It's a different company. It's a lot pricier, but it does other things. Like it has an attachment for engraving. It can also do laser etching.
That was engraved.
mean, it was the model had a indent on it.
Yeah.
But, this is real like laser engraving or wood engraving, which that's a whole nother thing that normally is not easy to do without expending, buying 3 different things.
Right.
But they made and I was on the wait list for it. And then like when it came out, finally I had like $100 reserve, but I couldn't afford it. And so like, I'm just kind of, I don't know, I'm waiting and they sold out. And then, but I still think I want to get one of those. I think I might have to put it in like my garage though. That's the other thing too, is like,
This stuff requires a lot of space.
some of it does. And 3D printers in general too, they're pretty loud. They're not, so it's, having it in your bedroom might be awful. You like, I'm lucky because I have it in a room I can shut the door. But that being said, I still hear it if I have it running at night, and
Yeah.
having it just, having space for it, I think is key. And also like temperature and stuff does matter. And there's all sorts of things that you can do better.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, the one I want's a lot bigger. And I would probably have to find a way to put it in my garage, or I don't know what I would do, but yeah, there's a lot of options. It's popular. There's Chinese brands that knock off Prusa too. So you can get it the same thing pretty much for cheaper, but
I wouldn't do that.
yeah.
Maybe I would. Probably not.
He's got like, I think on his, I remember they have like I think they have a warehouse with like 1,000 printers in it or something. And they like print a lot of the parts that they use for the printers. Cause like a lot of the parts already are 3D printed, and that's cool. If you break something that's 3D printed, you can just, if the printer's still working, you can print another one. Or like a lot of people will build better parts and upgrade their printer. Or like, I remember when I worked on that STEM bus, we like built one and then we printed the pieces to build the other ones. And it was cheaper
That's
that way,
cool.
The plastic
That's
parts.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's the future. I mean, I do think at some point, I don't know if it'll be extrusion. There might just be some breakthrough that makes a lot of sense where we all have, it's like a microwave. Like you just have it in your garage and but who knows? Maybe that won't, maybe this is still always required to be a huge dork, and I don't know.
I think they'll make a super consumer friendly one eventually.
Yeah.
And it's all like on your app or something. And you're like, oh, I want this thing.
Yeah. Or it's just, it becomes so ubiquitous that you don't have a printer at your house, but it's on an app. You print it,
Or
you go to the library and pick it up, or just go to the library.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Or,
I mean,
I'm also interested in the companies that 3D print things
and make them a living doing it, or like they literally rapid
Yeah.
prototype, or they actually make things that they sell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, this is
and
like,
you can make tens of thousands and more easily, like with that stuff.
And again, we're talking about home consumer 3D printing, right? And there's a whole nother can of worms there where there are way more sophisticated. I mean, there are 3D printers that print metal now at a high level of precision. Apple does that with a lot of their stuff. They 3D print some of their metal, and then they also CNC it, and that's how they're able to get some of the industrial design, and
yeah, that's crazy.
That's a whole nother, thing. And, I know you talked to a company here in town that's doing some of that. I mean, I really hope, we can get them on Hackfort Live, but it'd be great to have them be part of the event, and 3D printing is something
really interested in.
You and I have always tried to involve, and, I hope we still have some of that. Boise Public Library was pretty excited, and I think they're still excited.
Sure.
We've been talking to Kate.
We're expanding our 3D printing network already. Like, I already know a lot of people now that are super into 3D printing in Boise.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely more accessible than it's ever been. That's the truth for sure. But yeah, that's kind of the elevator pitch on 3D printing. It's fun.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. I mean,
all of our merch should be 3D printed.
Oh boy. I don't know if I want to be in
not
charge of printing that, but maybe this company can print us our merch. Like,
yeah, maybe.
still want to do those custom
The badges.
badges.
I was thinking that would be a good use case.
I'm frustrated because I know enough about like electronics and like what you and I want to do with that I could design a board and we could just do it, because like I feel like we keep getting defeated because there's a sponsor that wants to do it and then doesn't, and then it's not hard.
We could just put that in our budget and then have a sponsor just cover it later.
Yeah, and maybe not this year. Maybe we'll wait till 2023 through 23. Yes,
22.
I don't want to do 22. We got too much going on.
But that's 3/4's 10-year anniversary.
Okay, we'll see. If we could squeeze it in this summer and figure it out, but I just don't. With us planning 2 3/4 at once, I'm just like...
We already got that model that Constantine made. Like, we're already... we just need the money.
Yeah, we have something. You know, Constantine didn't really design like the circuit part of it, though.
It was a prototype.
Yeah. And, you know, I might be thinking too big, but like I really do think there's some simple designs out there where we could build one board that has like 3 different circuit draws on it. Which one do you want to do? Do you want to have blinking lights? Do you want to have the speaker that does something? Do you want to have the, I don't know, something that electrocutes you? We can do that.
Soundboard.
Yeah.
Pew, 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 pew.
So awful.
Oh my God. Can we be that?
We could make it so like, maybe that makes sense. We have one that's a soundboard and one that's like sound reactive
every other
and changes the lights.
Hate us.
Me, 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 me.
It's just everyone going around Tree Fort doing air horn.
Honestly, if we actually pull off this badge thing, we'll probably have one of the most coveted items at Tree Fort, which also would be funny. I want one. I just want one that's sound reactive, and there are controllers galore out there that can do that in their sleep.
Yeah.
Like again, if I make a design, I could send this to China, to Shenzhen, and we can. Jesse already showed me the website because my brother did the same freaking thing. We can have a prototype in like a month, and then okay, perfect. We want this many boards, but we want you to just give us all the chips because we're gonna. This is for a project for people to build.
Well, let's keep this in mind for the 3D printing person I talked to.
Yeah,
because maybe they can 3D print something with that.
Or maybe they can print the frame that the board goes into.
Print the frame.
And that has like the Hackfort
is the thing that
and that would make it even simpler because then we just have a board that slips into the frame.
Yeah, see? Here we go.
Boom. Even simpler. We're just making this easier.
Good ideas are formed.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, we could even just find kits that are already made that you have to solder, like the one we did, that's simple, and then we just have them design a thing that kit will fit into.
With their logo on it.
Yeah, of course. Their logo, the Hackfort logo, Tree Fort logo, whatever.
Yeah.
Coolest badge ever.
Like etch QR codes on there.
Sure.
Did you hit the light?
Awesome.
Avoid the ceiling area.
Is it working? Are you playing?
Super well, yeah.
Are you using?
Honestly, very impressive. Like the physics and.
Did you figure out the
controller, or was it like a no-go?
Thing off just because it was a little strange. It was like facing a different.
Oh yeah, you probably have to adjust it in the settings.
Yeah, there's like some settings you can change that stuff.
Right.
Well,
it's just playing ping pong.
Super seamless.
Isn't that amazing? Like you're playing ping pong, like tricks you into thinking you're actually playing ping pong.
Yeah, seriously. Very cool.
Well, Mike, I think that's I think we can wrap it. I think it's an episode.
I think so.
Did I sell you on
3D printer now,
damn it. I'm too good of a salesman. I need to stop.
But like
I sell you
I
everything.
don't have a lot of space though, like you were saying.
Well, but like I said, I looked for you because I know a couple brands, and there are some that are like they're smaller and they're enclosed, so they're quieter. You know, there's options. I mean, there really, really is, and we can explore that. And a couple of the ones I saw are definitely like they have the Wi-Fi, they have all the things that like the Prusa doesn't. You have to build a board yourself and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Part of me also just wants to go to the Maker Lab or something.
I mean, you have access to it.
Yeah.
Which I could show you how to use the software, which I'm pretty sure I think they're using.
I think they require you to like
Do a course or
do
something.
like
that
an
makes
intro
sense.
thing with them, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
But
that would
like,
be I would be so stoked if you took an intro to 3D printing class instead of all these classes you're taking that like require you to like stress out and do homework.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Actually, if you did any GIM
I'm
class,
thinking-
I wouldn't even bat an eye.
I'm thinking next fall, take like a sports class, like golf or
That's awesome.
I don't know, tennis or something to just not be stressful, but do something fun.
That make me happy because that would mean that you would also not have more time to devote to Hackfort before
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah, I'm not taking programming next
No.
semester.
Man, I'm telling you, that intro programming class that Ellerson taught, one of the best classes I've ever taken. Hard. It actually, but I just did all the homework and I focused, and yeah, I was spending a few hours a night on that, but I had fun doing it. And it was like, and I honestly, like, it refreshed my programming skills better than they've ever been. Object-oriented, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. And I made my own game. I made like 2 games, and then we had our final, we made a game as a team.
That's awesome.
Like, what?
And that was an audited course too.
Yeah, I just audited it.
That's amazing.
Which was really smart because in the end, I wasn't stressing about grades, and I also didn't, Anthony was just like, you passed, you did a really good job.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. Maybe, well, you'll yell at me if I try to take it next fall, so
I wouldn't.
spring,
I actually think he
maybe?
only does it in the spring because he usually follows those students. So it's like a spring only.
It's like a cohort, right?
Yeah, he follows, your cohort kind of stays with the teachers, or they kind of keep you, in your group. And I think Anthony does like the intro in the spring, and then he moves on to the next course. I think some of these concepts and all that, right, are really important. And I think he sees the value in keeping these students together and staying with the same students so he can help them progress. Because he's really good at figuring out how people learn and blah, blah, blah. He's one of those teachers that's just fantastic. So
I'm excited to see his talk.
I'm excited to have him. Like, he's someone I do look up to, and I think he really does have the student in our community, and he really is a visionary when it comes to changing how you learn and making incredible students that actually get to follow a career that's interesting, So
Yeah, I mean,
I can talk about GIM all night. I think it's one
I
of the
know.
coolest things they've
College
ever
of
done.
Innovation and Design is also like
Yeah.
everything they do. I like every program I've looked at. I'm like, oh my god, that's cool.
It's
That's
smart.
cool.
Really
That's
smart.
cool.
Really smart move from Boise State. And again,
Just sad that we were
too late.
graduated a little bit earlier. Than,
Little late to the party, but that's all good.
No, a little early.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we can call that a night.
Yeah.
Let's log out and we'll roll
Till
credits.
next Thursday.
Or 2 Thursdays from now.
Till next Thursday.
Hopefully I'm back. Hopefully I'm not a remote.
Could be remote.
Might be. Maybe I should bring my stuff. Well, I could just bring this.
I'll just come over here and
All right.
bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Every year you sponsor Hackfort, which is, for those of you who are not aware, this is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Every year you sponsor Hackfort, which is, for those of you who are not aware, Hackfort. This is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Hackfort. 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 Every year you sponsor Hackfort. 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 This is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Every year you sponsor Hackfort, which is, for those of you who are not aware, Hackfort is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Hackfort. every year you sponsor Hackfort, which is, for those of you who are not aware, Hackfort is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Hackfort. Hackfort. For those of you who are not aware, Hackfort